This is the April 2024 tank update. As you can see, the tank is empty because unfortunately I had a leak. It occurred in the back corner back here. Right here. No idea why the tank was level. It was a very slow leak, but it was at the bottom of the tank, so I had to drain it quickly. And so we'll move to the garage and see what is going on. Here is the replacement tank that Innovative Marine sent me. They had no good explanation for why the other tank could have leaked. As far as I can tell, I can't find anyone online that's ever discussed an Innovative Marine 200-gallon that has leaked. I might be the first. What's interesting, this tank looks exactly the same. The only difference is a lot of people complained about the wrap on the Innovative Marine 200 going around the side, so you lose some visibility. So they changed that. So the wrap, as you can see, is almost none. And so it gives you a much better viewing angle down the side. So that's interesting. Otherwise, it's essentially the same tank. What I did notice is that the pallet that they delivered my original tank on last year was destroyed in the back right corner, under the back right corner. So the pallet was actually, chunks were missing, so something had happened. And I'm wondering if that had something to do with it, because it's the exact right corner that the tank leaked. So now I'm stuck deciding, do I trust Innovative Marine and put this tank in my house or not? So that's a tough one. We'll move over and see where all the livestock is. Before we do that, I did have a pretty big tragedy I'll show you. Here is my SPS graveyard. I put all of my large SPS into a bucket and in the middle of the night, because the leak started about 11:30 at night. I finished emptying the tank around 4:30 a.m. and all of these corals went into one bucket. They looked okay in the morning, but when I got home from work, it looked like milk. It was white, the water. And as you can see, the pink Cadillac looked like it started it, and it started to RTN, and man, everything else in here went to. I tried pulling out some pieces and seeing if they were savable, but flesh was just falling off of all of them. So all my big SPS are gone. That sucks. But I'll show you what I was able to save. So here is my makeshift new garage setup. I was able to save all the soft corals, and all the fish survived. So I've got some of the softies here, and I put all the tangs in this tank. I had to set this thing up within like a few days. I just got some bricks and used a bucket underneath for a sump. Used one of my pumps from the house, and I never used one of these overflow boxes before, but threw on this overflow box, which works pretty well actually. I've tested it multiple times, cut off power, and it's never lost its prime. So the weird thing is there's two tubes, only one of them tends to hold, the other one tends to loses its flow, but it's fine, the one works fine. My makeshift light mount, and then my makeshift controller board, which is actually for people who want to make a simple controller board that you can move around pretty easy. I just took a board put it flat, and then put a board perpendicular with a few hinges. And it works really well because then you can just grab it and pull it and then work on the back. And I've got all the plugs on the back, and then you've got your controllers up front. So actually worked pretty good. It's portable. You can use it for whatever. But that's running some of the corals and the tangs. And then I dumped all of my Euphyllia in this tank. So this is my softies and my fairy wrasses. They're all here, and so far they're all alive. I did lose one of my fairy wrasses. I put him in the tank with the tangs, and unfortunately the egg crate slots are a little too big for a fairy wrasse, so he jumped out, and that was a bummer. So that's the only fish I've lost so far. And then my lovely makeshift light mount, trying to save some SPS on my ladder here. And so luckily all the more expensive SPS that I had recently purchased were in a different, kind of a glare, but they were in a different tank than the big SPS. And so I was able to save like my Walt Disney, Disney Junior, Home Wrecker, Bill Murray, all of those. Luckily, just those little frags I was able to save. And so, in my big Oregon tour, and of course the purple stylo, which is impossible to kill. And then there's a bunch of acros in the back, frags, most of them. One of them looks like it's dying, but the rest are alive. So all of the smaller SPS, other than the large Oregon tour, and then this guy back here, I was able to save those, but the rest are gone. Everything else, the gonnies in here, mushrooms, my big orange mushrooms back there, everything else survived. So, I don't know, put in comments what your guys' thoughts are. Do I trust Innovative Marine and put another one back in my house? Or do I consider a custom tank? Waterbox has a similar size as the IM200. It's about $6,000 versus the tank that I have now, which is free. So I don't know, still trying to decide. I'm gonna post on Reef to Reef too and see what people's thoughts and recommendations are.